We're snorting cap rates and shooting up cash flow here at Deal Junkies. Welcome back to Deal Junkies. I'm Gabe Johansson, back in the studio with Mike Nuss and Trevor Howard. We're going to talk about deals. We wouldn't be Deal Junkies if we didn't talk about deals. And Mike has a couple of hot deals going right now. So we're gonna let Mike show off. It's nothing to just.
We're talking about the real estate deals or something else.
Oh, we could talk about all sorts of things if you want.
Okay.
But we specifically set out on a mission to talk about real estate.
Okay. Cool.
But if Mike wants to talk about something different, we can.
No, we're good. But yeah, well, this is such a good dovetail off of the partnership conversation.
Yeah. So if you just listened to our last episode, we talked about partnerships. We didn't dive quite as deep as I wanted to, but we'll talk more about partnerships in the future. But so now you talked about how you wanted to you have a new partner, or you have a partner you did a couple deals with, and you started talking about wanting to do office towers in downtown Portland. And you've recently put your first office tower under contract.
In contract.
Woo! I mean, there's a reason you're a real estate celebrity. I've never met anybody who's put an office tower under contract. Have you, Trevor?
Did you deliver EM yet?
Yeah.
How much was it?
$200,000.
Whoa!
Whose money was it?
Not mine.
Oh, that's why he has a partner.
Did you raise some of the money outside your partnership right now doing it to already get EM, or did you guys just have?
No.
They just had 200.
Yeah. It's and just getting an escrow was the hardest thing because it's on the market. Everyone knows about the asset. There's cash offers everywhere. Our offer is the highest, but it also comes with refundable EM, which the bank. So the backstory is this is a big tower. It's bank owned, hit the auction. No one bid on it at the auction. The bank got it back at auction, just like every tower. So every office building right now goes to the auction block. There have been a few, nothing sells. They get credit bid purchased by the bank, and now they go back onto the market as an REO. So it's been on the market. People are lowballing like crazy. So our pitch is we'll give you a higher price, significantly less than what they want still, but higher than everyone else. This is what we want. And so there was a negotiation with the broker, meeting them in person, touring the building, let them know here's what our portfolio looks like. And the conversation is what's your experience level? Because it's the agent now putting his reputation on the line to go convince the executives at the bank to take this offer. With refundable earnest money and whatnot. And so it was, well, this is our track record. This is the type of capital we've raised. This is what we're doing. This is the partnerships that we have. This is what our strategy is. And at the end of the day, we're able to convince him that, hey, you have the right team. You are local. You have raised enough capital. Like, this isn't the amount of capital we've raised. This isn't a huge amount. You've got experience. You have an actual plan and idea to accomplish that. And so then they went to the bank to bat for us. And it was about a 3-week period of time in negotiating and I just stepped back and let my partner negotiate. So the way it came to the table was we've been talking for over a year about buying this, and we've been game planning and talking about macroeconomics and how it's going to play out and what it's going to look like. And have watched the market conditions come to this point in time where now everything that we've talked about is happening.
And you've talked about this deal for a year?
Not this deal, this strategy, this idea.
Okay.
Is your offer bumpable? Can we go make an offer?
No, it's not.
Okay.
And so he brings it to the table, right? He's got the reputation. He's been buying these types of, well, not these types of assets, but commercial. And so he's kind of quarterbacking that portion of it. But the partnership comes from, he doesn't want to operate. He doesn't want to be an operator. He doesn't want to put the team together. He'll raise some of the capital. He doesn't want to raise all the capital. He doesn't want to be the visionary of the project. And then his current partner doesn't want that role either.
So that's you.
So that's me. So then I get to come in as the visionary of the project.
So you have 3 of you guys right now.
2 of us. Yep.
2 of you. His other partner didn't move on.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And then my old partners. So it's now the 2 of us kind of honed down over a period of time. And we've known each other for more backstory. When he got his real estate license in 2017, joined our brokerage. So I've been coaching him for 7 years. He's been acquiring real estate. We've been having economic discussions, business discussions, a super brilliant mind. He's literally a nuclear engineer. And so we can communicate and game plan on a level that works really, really well. And like going on partnerships, partnerships, we operate in different areas, and my expertise is not his, and his expertise is not mine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm curious on this, because you're going and raising funds and everything. How long did you structure it? Like, how long do you have to close? What are the timelines? When does your EM become non-refundable?
Yeah, so we have a period of time for the EM being 30 days. That's what we were able to negotiate. But part of that is we have to check in with the bank every week on the amount of funds that we've raised, and we need to show them commitments. And so we're under the gun as far as now it's time to go raise capital.
How much are you raising?
It's $5 million.
You're raising the full 5?
Yeah. We can do some debt. Like I could get it done with 2. I don't want to get it done with 2.
What are you offering to investors?
That's the plan that we're still figuring on. So part of this is you're gaining some interest, right? Because you have to have some communication with investors to get some confidence while you're communicating with the agent about your confidence.
It's proof that a bank really has no idea what we do, because in your first 30 days, you're still building your business plan. You don't even know what to offer your investors yet. So really, you're getting a super preliminary sort of commitment, like, hey, if this all penciled out, would you be interested in what kind of dollar amount would you be interested in contributing?
Well, I'm curious too, what kind of structure are you doing? Like, is this a syndicate? Like, what is...
Yeah, it'll be a syndicated deal.
Okay.
Yeah, and probably what will happen will be 2 syndications. It'll be a really quick syndication to get the property purchased, and then syndicate that into an overall business plan, and then take that business plan into multiple phases.
How quick can you get those syndication docs drafted?
So we have another 45 days after to then finalize all that portion of it.
So you're looking to raise the capital to take down a $5 million asset with all investor capital and your capital, no debt unless you have to. That's sort of a backup plan.
Correct.
And this first leg is really almost like an angel investor. This is like very risky. We don't have everything fleshed out. We think it's worth rolling the dice on. This could go south, but if it doesn't, it's going to be a big hit. So then the plan is from there to get your business plan drafted, have a better idea of where this is going to go, and then sell it to a new syndication that you're also the sponsor of. And then those first investors will make a return on their initial for being rewarded for taking the risk that they did to come in and get this thing locked.
Potentially. There's one other step in there. And so we haven't gotten to that point yet. So the other step was essentially conversations with business owners about, hey, here's what we're thinking. Would you be interested
You're
in
going to condo this thing to them?
That might be a play. So part of it, again, is the confidence is, well, I had a really good conversation with you about, hey, you talked to this person. This is what they did, similar assets. So it's gaining more ideas and strategies and taking those ideas and strategies and just having phone calls with people with capital. So that way I can feel confident that I can go to the agent and say, yes, you can put your reputation on my ability to raise capital.
How long do you have to close this to?
75 days.
You have 75 days to close?
Yeah.
Just
holy shit, dude.
He could close it next week if he had the money.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking the timeline to get all that stuff drafted and in line.
Oh, no, that's
simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your first leg of this, especially, you're not going to do this with 100 investors.
Right.
You're going to do this with 3 or 5 people.
That was part of the discussion as well. You know, if we told the listing agent, oh yeah, 20 guys, 200, no.
Now your next round of syndication might be it might be 100 investors, but in this first one, it's going to be small.
It could be a commercial, what do they call that? Fundraise, like it could be
like a crowd street.
Yeah, crowd street type thing. Like that's the beauty, is there's so many different directions to go. And here's the thing. We're basis-based investors, right? We're value-add investors. We understand basis. We think in basis. If you think in basis in the long time frames, you can't go wrong. So it's a matter of how do you show the value of a long time frame with key business principles to get you through the most effed up commercial office market cycle we've ever seen.
Because you're buying this thing for like 10 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
For
probably more like 20. Yeah.
So I love this deal, and I love the fact, a few things I really love about it. One thing I love that you're thinking big.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I've never
and you are outside, you're kind of outside your wheelhouse, kind of not outside your wheelhouse. Really, just even if you didn't do this deal, just the way you're leveling yourself up in the 30 days of due diligence is incredible, because it's going to give you skills you didn't have before. It's going to make you think about things you had never thought about before. It's going to make you have phone calls with people you would have never talked to before. Like, I love, even if you don't do the deal, I love the exercise of doing the deal.
Oh, I feel high right now.
Dude.
I can't imagine how you feel.
So this is it. We talked about it, the recording, the transition, Mike's transition. So here's what I did. After this, I'm going to go play golf. I got a round of golf on Saturday. I have a round of golf on Sunday. The only thing
to raise capital there?
The only thing I'm doing, maybe. The only thing I'm doing this weekend is getting my mind right for who I will be on Monday. Very clear, very organized. Who is Mike on Monday? What phone calls am I making? What's the narrative I write, right? It's narrative. The game plan is coming out. It's getting out on paper. And so when it comes Monday, I'm a completely different human being than I am Friday. And so that is a 72-hour process. Like, I'm just so excited. I know where my free time is coming. I know where I'm going to be thinking. I know when I'm going to be writing. I can't wait.
How hard do you think it is to raise $5 million in 75 days?
I don't think it's that hard. I really don't. And again, part of it is I've been groomed for this. And for example, before we really gave that listing agent confidence, we got connected to a big business owner in town. And it was through my partner's connections. And it was almost like this test case. He's like, you're going to talk the entire time. See, this is what he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to pitch the deal. He doesn't want to be involved in that. He wants me to take the lead on it. And the outcome of that conversation was, I was born to do this. And so when you talk about in your lane, outside of my lane, this asset, 100% outside of my lane. What my role is, putting a team together, 100% inside my lane.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Talking finance, deal structure, strategy, bringing people together in a way that they can all work together in their special skill set. So super excited.
Why do you need your partner?
Well, he's bringing our skin in the game. That's part of it.
So he's a money
guy.
And he negotiated your deal too.
And he negotiated the deal. Yeah. So he found the deal, he negotiated the deal, and he's bringing some of the capital.
Okay. Why does he need you? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. You're right.
he needs
to talk
the
the deal, to do the vision, operate. Yeah. Yep. What percentage of this deal do you think you have to give away to investors?
Well, I mean, that's where I'm not experienced in actual syndications. I've done very small partnerships, just LLCs without syndications. There's no waterfall. There's none of that stuff. So a typical waterfall plan is a pref and an 80-20 and a waterfall. That's not how this is going to happen. This is all a debt-driven deal, right? So it's acquire with cash, create value, I mean, this is like a burr on freaking millions of steroids. The whole plan is, because when you're buying it at 20 cents on the dollar, well, once we can just get it absorbed, well, you have a huge value increase. Okay, so there's a plan to get it absorbed, but only get 1/3 of your value. Okay, well, you can actually get all your cash back, and you can get $1 million of debt in that financial scenario. Then you take it to phase 2. Now it's absorbed. Phase 2 is it has a little bit of income. Well, guess what? You just doubled the value again. You can now take up more tax-free debt. And then you get to phase 3, which is the commercial cycle's done. Office is stabilized. We know what it is. And then that falls in a value range somewhere between, $30-40 million. And then at that point, can you take out another $5 million, $6 million? So it's all debt driven. There's no need to sell the asset.
But what percentage do you think you have to give away?
Well, that's the beauty of it. The faster you can get the debt, the actual capital back, the more value you provide.
So you're going to try to do your LPGP structure. You're going to try to buy them out and get them the return they want. Now you own 100% of the asset when you get, or
no, I think what we'll end up doing is a performance driven scenario with that. Again, this is where I have shoulders of people I'm going to lean on and kind of drive that part of the process.
You'll get a promoted interest, like Bob Thomas talked about at the SRE a couple weeks ago, about why not put in 10% of the skin and get 50% of the upside or whatever. Yeah. Like, plus you don't want to take on, I mean, you've obviously looked at some of the downside risk, but you take on a building like this and things can go wrong. I'm guessing it's a really big building. An office tower it's a big building. So when things go wrong on a building that size, I mean, it's really wrong. Like this isn't $100,000 or $200,000 roof job. These are like $1 million roofs. These are like $10 million window replacements. I mean, it's one of the reasons why you're buying it is because
it's had a lot of money put into it, but there's still a lot that could and may really need to be done.
How do you even figure out what condition the building's in? Are there special inspectors for a building like that?
Yeah, well, engineer. Yeah, again, there's where I'm going to start relying on. Luckily, this has already been fully renovated, permitted. It's been shaken down by everyone that needs to shake it down. So, and there you go. Like, if this was acquire the asset and put $200 a square foot into a remodel, no, right? That's not my game. Completely different type of fundraise and capital raise, completely different operations, completely different timelines. And that's why I like this first deal, is because that part is not in. So now we can get in, prove the concept, solidify the team, and then turn that into 5 towers.
Okay. Trevor, you had a question for him.
I forgot what it was. you cut me off.
Trevor's so high on this deal, he can't even think straight.
I'm excited.
Right?
Dude,
this is cool.
Do you know, as a little kid, when you're driving north on the Terwilliger curves and you come through that last turn, and you see Mount Hood on the right.
Yeah, I know
you're giving too much detail, Mike.
And then you see the buildings in the north.
Yeah.
And you're just...
Yours is the tallest.
I've always been fascinated with Portland since the first time I rode here. And I would always wake up in the Terwilliger curve, fall asleep on the ride, wake up in the curves, see downtown, and you're like... And to think that I can actually have a piece of that. Here's the other thing. When I was 21 and I was laid off and I was a dreamer, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have a tower in downtown and a helicopter, and I'm going to fly to my house in the
Wait,
gorge.
Is there a helicopter pad on top of this?
No, but we might be able to put, I don't know how much space
we got to get one up there.
There's one a couple blocks away. I know that.
Okay.
On a parking garage.
When Trevor and I first became partners, he brought me a little what was it? Empire State Building, statue of the Empire State Building, and it says something on the bottom of it like we're in some year by some year we're going to own the Empire State Building. So
I love that.
He has similar dreams.
Yeah,
to you.
yeah, I love that.
Now I learned I don't want the Empire State Building. I want all the shitty apartments that are all around it.
Yeah, they're so smart. He gets smarter and smarter.
Those aren't as cute in statues sitting on your desk.
That's so true.
Well, that's really cool. So, where's the? I mean, there's obviously risk involved. People are running from office. You wouldn't be able to buy something 20 cents on the dollar if they weren't running from office. So, when you're looking at a deal like this, do you get scared? I mean, do you think like, oh my gosh, we got to find a way to fill this thing up, and I don't know how to, or I don't know who's going to come, or what happens when, Donald Trump, if he's elected, we get more riots in downtown Portland. I mean, I remember we had 5 or 6 months straight where there was a riot every single night. Like, what kind of those thoughts go through your head when you're looking at a building like that?
Luckily, that's where experience matters. I've had my office in the Central Business District for 7 years. So I know what it's like to be in the Central Business District. I've been on commissions. I've been on stakeholder committees. I've been involved from a political standpoint. I've seen leadership and how it's changed. So Portland has the branding that Portland's gone through in the past 20 years has been really impressive. It started going really far left when it did some political appointing and voting in 2016. COVID happened. What we've seen and how quickly leadership has gone back and forth in Portland is pretty interesting and talks a lot to the community. It's not as crazy as the media wants you to make it out. But through that process, because it was so crazy on the landlord-tenant side in 2016, I got brought in 2017. So I've been able to meet all the commissioners and all the city council members, and I have an idea of who the players are. I know what the mindset was 7 years ago. I know what the mindset was moving towards in COVID, and I know what the mindset is now of the leadership. And if I didn't see the things and the patterns that I have seen over the past 3 years, I wouldn't be as excited. And then when you take what I've seen from a political standpoint happen over the past 3 years and what's happened specifically physically on this one section of downtown, I get even more excited because now it's not the talk versus the talk. It's the actual walk is following the talk. The other part of that is a camping ban. We've been talking forever, this politicized camping ban. Well, that's being finalized this week. So
what, you mean they can't put tents in the...
They're getting rid of all the urban backpackers?
Yes, exactly. So the park blocks are activated again. There's one tent within a couple blocks of this building. I drove around, didn't see any tents.
So you're saying that they're cleaning Portland up.
They are.
And so you're seeing politically that we're coming out the other side of whatever Portland went through, and now these assets who have suffered, and office buildings have suffered for more reason than homelessness.
Yes.
I mean, office is just people work from home, COVID, so on and so forth. It was really probably some of these buildings were already underperforming, and then half the people went to work from home, or offices downsize, companies downsize their office footprint, and then you just end up with numbers that don't work.
Right.
And so,
and no one knows that.
I mean, when this started happening a couple of years ago, Paul and I, the first thing we said is we got to go buy a tower in Portland. I mean, we did the same exact thing. We've been talking about it for at least a year, maybe 2 years, about doing it. We've had people bring us a couple of deals, and then you look at them and it's like you said, we're not an operator. We don't understand where those users are going to come from. So it's hard for us to imagine how we would come in and run that better and add the value back in. So it's cool, though, to get into a deal size that you're comfortable in and get into a tower and be able to pick it up so cheap, because to your point is you don't even need to get the thing humming to make money. You just got to get it. You just got to bring it back to life a little bit.
Yeah. Think of it it's a house hack on steroids. So think of it this way. You want a $5 million house you can get for $500,000, and then you just go live in it. Well, my partner has a large office space, and he's been office hacking. I've got an office space. How many operators do I know?
You have 2 tenants right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Put SMI in there.
Yeah.
Can you take up 50% of it so you can get an
SBA loan? We probably could. The other part is I have a staffing company. My organization is a staffing. One of my
51%.
Yeah, 51. You can do 10% down. And
well, one of my companies is a staffing organization, and I have friends that have really large businesses in that scenario. You throw in the tax credits at the city of Portland. I can create that company and blow it up on one of those floor plates. Now get all those tax credits, service all of the tenants through that staffing company so they don't have to have an HR department. There's
you have a vision. You're already building a vision.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what does it cost in attorney fees to have all these entity docs?
Well, and that's the misnomer is, so when I first looked into syndications, I got scared away because I met with an attorney who was highly recommended, and he was lame. He was so negative. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's going to cost me you're going to pay me 25, 30 grand. And it was such a misnomer. This is the best part about COVID. Not Finance of America, but one of the huge syndicators, they're local. Cassidy. I met Cassidy on the golf course. Randomly got paired up with him on the golf course. This guy raises billions and billions of dollars. Well, they have a part of it, which is just they create syndications. It's like a $5,000 flat fee to go pay them. They create all the syndication documents for you, and then they'll actually raise capital for you and put together a team.
They'll raise capital for you?
Yeah. So the guy, Lance Peterson, runs that part of their company. I can't remember.
Just because they have so many funds coming through there.
Exactly.
Reallocated.
Yeah. So that's their expansion model. It's like you bought so much real estate. Now they're expanding through partnerships.
They're a fund that directs capital into other funds. Syndication.
And it's not Finance of America. It's really similar to that name.
Are you going to ask them for money?
Again, I'm making a short list and a long list of people I'm going to talk to. So I don't want to. No, I want to bring this in-house with 5 people that I know, like, love, and trust. And then from there, syndicate.
Have you talked to any of those people yet or not yet?
Yeah.
What has been the feedback so far from them on this?
Everyone needs to know the plan. It's love the asset, love the idea. What's the actual plan to execute? And then the missing piece is I don't have that experience on the leasing and the commercial side of that scale. And so it's bringing in a third GP, a team member that is very good on the operation side of leasing out the asset. I've got lots of ideas of how to do it, but someone to actually implement it needs to be on the team.
Why do you need to bring in a third GP rather than just hiring a broker in the area?
That's one way to potentially do it. And that's how I would prefer to do it. That's how we've built out our actual pro forma. Now it's the rubber meets the street. It's the actual conversations, and it's, well, do I need to bring them in as a GP, or will they work with the business plan that says this is who we're hiring? And so, Gabe introduced me to someone who would be potentially a hire and a GP. And then I've got another couple connections in Portland that I'm setting meetings up with to talk about hiring out the leasing side.
How much of your time is going to be spent over the next on this?
Everything.
So for 30 days, you're going to be focused on this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what an operations person, if they're in the weeds on running the day to day, they don't see maybe what an acquisition person is doing when you're chasing a deal, for 30 days, and you've got this is, you wake up, go to sleep. This is the deal you're trying to put together. I mean, it's cool, but it's a lot. It's a lot. I applaud you for
Thank you.
taking a run at it. I think it's amazing. Anything else you want to add, Trevor? Other questions that you had before we wrap it up? You want to talk about other deals?
I'm just trying to figure out what you offer to someone on this, because we're trying to do similar type deals. I'm trying to see what the appetite has been, I guess, from people.
From a syndication standpoint.
Yeah, what are they like? Is there a specific IRR you think these people are looking for?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, it's not your typical syndication where you've got, this is the model, this is your IRR model. No, this is, you're buying an asset and you have to have faith in a business plan to get through a market cycle, and then logistics kick in after that. That's how I see it. And so it's a story. It's fundraising via story. I don't know what you have to give away for that.
Yeah, you start on the first one. You say, guys, this is risky. We don't have the entire business plan, but we're ripping this thing, and it's a nice building, and we're going to figure it out. And the reason why you're going to make more than the next investors is because you're going to come in while we don't have a fully fleshed business plan. We have a couple of ideas of where it can go, but we've got to get the thing closed, and we got to own it. We got to make it our problem now and not the bank's problem. Mm-hmm. And now, once we have it, now we'll fully flesh out. Here's 3 different ways we could go with it. We decided we're going to go down, plan B, and this is the direction we think has the most viability. And now you build the new team, you syndicate out, and you just take it to the next step.
Yep.
You could do that 2 or 3 times if you had to.
Yep. It's kind of the Grant Cardone model, right? So probably what will happen will as GPs, we'll get 20% of the asset at purchase, and then we'll probably re-syndicate it at a higher basis, and then create the plan from that.
Are you going to try to dump much of your portfolio into this and trade it in?
No, I don't need to. That's the beauty of it. And we don't have the time to.
Yeah.
There may be a scenario where we do some
on the dollar,
Yeah, but he's got cash flowing assets to trade out of all that equity to go into a building that's empty, because it's empty, right?
Yeah.
Mike's trying to roll the dice and throw it all in one.
Well, that might be a part of the play on the second syndication, which is now bringing in 1031 money. But that wouldn't be phase 1. We don't have the time for it. We don't have the strategy.
We'll buy all your portfolio right now on seller carry and get you a very small amount of money you can put into it.
It sounds like a win-win for me.
Cool. So you don't own any other office other than your office?
I own my office. I've owned other office in the past.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's not simple. Like it's like a development play. I don't expect any income for 3 years. That's the numbers we have run. Those are the discussions we've had, which is 3 years, the entire play is limiting expense. The value to the investors on the first 3-year period is how well we limit expense, because we're not baking in any. We have all the expenses accounted for. We have no income. So the return comes from limiting expense.
Okay. I mean, it is exactly your business model that you've already done, just in a different asset type, and it's big.
What makes it so exciting?
That's
going to be really cool to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't wait to hear for an update.
Dude, here's the best part. I was the first person to show up at the showing in a hoodie and jeans and tennis shoes. And the commercial broker in his suit looked at me like, who are you?
You're some homeless guy.
What are you going to do here? And so we go in and we start at the top and start walking down. By the first staircase, we weren't even at the bottom of the staircase, and you realized, okay, you're legit. Okay, you know what you're doing. You can do this, have this conversation. So my goal is to buy this thing and then go in, buy a suit, go in there, rip off the suit, and burn it.
Perfect. So if you're listening to this when this comes out, Mike's probably looking for $5 million. So if you have $5 million, contact Mike.
Yeah.
I told my partner I was going to have it raised in 14 days.
All right, never mind. You're too late.
Well, maybe not. He might be on the last leg by the time you listen to this. He might need.
Or he's really struggling looking for some money, so you can take like majority of the deal right there.
I'll give you $1 million for half the deal.
Or I'm in jail for bank robbery.
All right. Well, I think that's fun. Boy, Office Tower. Mike's transitioning. We talked about Mike transitioning. He's going to go into Office Tower. It'll be fun to hear how he does on this project and where it all goes. So thanks for sharing your story with us. Is there anything else before we sign off? Okay, guys, thanks again for listening. Please share us. We're the Deal Junkies, a real estate podcast. Tell your friends about us, and we will see you next time.